very difficult. We have about 30,000 temples in this state, properties that have temples, interest in temples. Srila Prabhupada, however, wasn't complaining, rather merely stating the fact. He offered Mr. Raju his solution. If government takes our advice, we can give them advice how to organize, how to utilize. Mr. Raju was positive. Definitely, we want a scheme. Definitely, fortunately, it is the land of this Krishna and Godavari rivers. Krishna and Godavari rivers, it is a sacred land. We are finding everywhere there has been some kind of ups and downs. It has been studied. It has been studied. It is the government's duty to settle up, Prabhupada told him, but they must know how to settle up. If they do not know, then they cannot do anything. No, we want guidance, Mr. Raju assured him. That guidance we can give you, Prabhupada responded confidently, because we have taken the Brahmana's position. The Brahmana's duty is to give guidance to the Kshatriya. Government means Kshatriya. So if the Kshatriyas take guidance from the Brahmanas and they try to execute, then everything will be all right. So we can give you sufficient guidance provided you accept it. He added with a smile, making everyone laugh. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, text 48. Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Te. It's here is in synonyms. It says te. Atma Yoga Pataya.
Atma Yoga Pataya.
Adirajena.
Adirajena.
Pujitaha.
Pujitaha.
Shilam.
Shilam.
Tadiyam.
Tadiyam.
Shramsantaha.
Shramsantaha.
Ke.
Ke.
Abhavan.
Abhavan.
Mishatam.
Mishatam.
Nrinam.
Nrinam.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Ta Atma Yoga Pataya.
Ta Atma Yoga Pataya.
Adirajena Pujitaha.
Adirajena Pujitaha.
Shilam Tadiyam Shramsantaha.
Shilam Tadiyam Shramsantaha.
Ke Bhavan Mishatam Nrinam.
Ke Bhavan Mishatam Nrinam.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Ta Atma Yoga Pataya.
Atma Yoga Pataya.
Adirajena Pujitaha.
Adirajena Pujitaha.
Shilam Tadiyam Shramsantaha. Ke Bhavan Mishatam Nrinam.
Ke Bhavan Mishatam Nrinam.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Ta Atma Yoga Pataya.
Ta Atma Yoga Pataya.
Adirajena Pujitaha.
Adirajena Pujitaha.
Shilam Tadiyam Shramsantaha.
Shilam Tadiyam Shramsantaha.
Ke Bhavan Mishatam Nrinam.
Ke Bhavan Mishatam Nrinam.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Ta Atma Yoga Pataya.
Ta Atma Yoga Pataya.
Adirajena Pujitaha.
Adirajena Pujitaha.
Shilam Tadiyam Shramsantaha.
Shilam Tadiyam Shramsantaha.
Ke Bhavan Mishatam Nrinam.
Ke Bhavan Mishatam Nrinam.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha.
Atma Yoga Pataya.
Atma Yoga Pataya.
Adirajena Pujitaha.
Adirajena Pujitaha.
Shilam Tadiyam Shramsantaha. Samsantah
Shilam Tariyam Samsantah
Kevavan Mishatam Nrinam
Kevavan Mishatam Nrinam
Mataji.
Maitreya Uvacha
Maitreya Uvacha
Atma Yoga Pataya
Atma Yoga Pataya
Adhirajena Pujitaha
Ahirajena Pujitaha
Shilam Tajiyam Shamsataha
Shilam Tariyam Samsantah
Kevavan Mishatam Nrinam
Kevavan Mishatam Nrinam
Maitreya Uvacha
Maitreya Uvacha
Atma Yoga Pataya
Atma Yoga Pataya
Adirajena Puchitaha
Adhirajena Pujitaha
Silam Tadiyam Santaha
Shilam Tariyam Samsantah
Kevavan Mishatam Nrinam
Kevavan Mishatam Nrinam
Maitreya Uvacha.
Maitreya Uvacha
The great sage Maitreya
The great sage Maitreya
continued to speak.
continued to speak.
They,
They,
Atma Yoga Patayaha,
Atma Yoga Pataya,
the masters of self-realization
the masters of self-realization,
by devotional service.
by devotional service,
Adirajena,
Adhyatena,
by the original king,
by
Pritu,
the original king, Prithu,
Pujitaha,
Pujitaha,
being worshipped.
being worshipped,
Shilam,
Shilam,
character.
character,
Tadiyam,
Tariyam,
of the king.
of the king,
Shamsantaha,
Shamsantah,
eulogizing.
eulogizing,
Ke,
Ke,
in the sky.
in the sky,
Abhavan,
Abhavanam,
appeared.
appeared,
Mishatam,
Nishatam,
while observing.
while observing,
Nrinam,
Rinam,
of the people.
of the people.
Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 22, Text 48, Translation. Being thus worshipped by Maharaj Prithu, the four Kumaras, who were masters of devotional service, became very pleased. Indeed, they appeared in the sky and praised the character of the king, and everyone observed them. Purport. It is said that the demigods never touch the surface of the earth. They walk and travel in space only. Like the great sage Narada, the Kumaras do not require any machine to travel in space. They are also residents of Siddhaloka. There are also residents of Siddhaloka who can travel in space without machines. Since they can go from one planet to another, they are called Siddhas. That is to say, they have acquired all mystic and yogic powers. Such great saintly persons who have attained complete perfection in mystic yoga are not visible in this age on earth because humanity is not worthy of their presence. The Kumaras, however, praised the characteristics of Maharaj Prithu and his great devotional attitude and humility. The Kumaras were greatly satisfied by King Prithu's method of worship. It was by the grace of Maharaj Prithu that the common citizens in his domain could see the Kumaras flying in outer space. Maitreya Uvacha. Ta Atma Yoga Pataya Adirajena Pujitaha Shilam Tadiyam Shamsantaha Kevavan Mishatam Nrinam. Being thus worshipped by Maharaj Prithu, the four Kumaras, who were masters of devotional service, became very pleased. Indeed, they appeared in the sky and praised the character of the king, and everyone observed them. This doesn't connect. Delete. So how is this possible that they travel in space? Hare Krishna. Can you show me where is the volume so that I don't have to bother you all every time? I can do it myself. Which one? The last one. The last one? Yes. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Can you be further from the microphone? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So we know that we travel with airplane, that it's very cold up there. So that means that if they travel through the space, they're not affected by cold. I mean, it's very cold up there. How many of you have flied by airplane? So, and you know, if you put your hand through the window, then you can see it's very cold. You can't do that, but anyway. Actually, in my country there is a joke. How do you know that you fly over my city, my hometown, which is in south of Serbia? If you put your hand with a watch through the window, the watch will disappear. You understand? That means this city is full of thieves. But still, this city has, like, there was 10 devotees there, so it's not so inglorious. So Kumaras they were masters of devotional service, and this is why King Prithu worshipped them. He showed by example that one should worship the devotees and the brahmanas and those who deliver knowledge and who live a life that is exemplary and who care for people. And so they became pleased, but they also praised the character of the king because he was a saintly king, Raja Rishi. And one thing is mentioned here, that by the mercy of the king they were able to see them, because usually people cannot see the demigods. But by the mercy of King Prithu, by his power, they were, you know, these personalities are so powerful, they can actually give you the power to see something that is not seen by ordinary people, like siddhas flying in the sky. So such is the power that cannot even delete it. Such is the power of spiritually strong, powerful personalities, and they have mystic powers, but they don't use them. Sometimes they can use their mystic power for preaching, like Narada Muni used his power to bring back to life the son of Maharaj Chitraketu. Maharaj Chitraketu wanted a son for a long time, but he couldn't get it, although he had many wives. And finally, by the mercy of some sages, he got a son, and he was named Harsha Shoka. Harsha Shoka means
happiness and distress, something like that.
happy and sad. He will bring happiness to his father, and he will bring sadness to his father. And he brought happiness to his father by being born, by growing a little bit, but then the wives, his other wives, those who didn't give birth to this boy, became envious of the wife who had a son, and they poisoned him. So King Chitraketu was in great pain, and Narada Muni came, his spiritual master came, and by his mystic power he brought back to life his son, and the son started to preach to him. So sometimes there is a situation where you can only hear from a person you are attached to. Like Bilvamangala Thakur was attached to Chintamani, and he could hear from her preaching. She was preaching to him. So Maharaj Chitraketu was very much attached to his son, and he could only hear from his son. He couldn't, if Narada Muni, his guru, would tell him the same thing, he wouldn't, it didn't touch him very much. But when Jiva Uvacha, it says in the Bhagavatam, Jiva Uvacha, when this boy, or the soul, started to speak, and this boy was preaching to him, quite heavy. He said, "You are not my father. I had so many fathers and mothers in many lifetimes. You are just in this life." And he was speaking him things like that, explaining to him the temporary nature of relationships in the material world. And he came to his senses. He, understood and became serious about spiritual life. And he was shocked. So you have to sometimes experience shock in order to become awakened spiritually, or extreme pain. And Maharaj Chitraketu experienced this extreme pain. But then he was more ready to hear. So sometimes it's needed that we experience extreme pain so that we are more ready to hear. Otherwise, we hear, but it doesn't actually sink in. It doesn't enter our heart, and we still want very good material life. We don't think about self-realization so much. But when something shocking happens, you realize, you feel it through your skin, you can say. You don't just understand it with your intellect, but it hits you deep, it hits you very deep. And then you become awakened a little bit, and you think, oh my God, what am I doing here? I'm still dreaming that I'm going to enjoy this material world. And so this kind of awakening is possible, and this is an instance where mystic power of a sage, of a brahmana, of a devotee is used for preaching. Now you may say, why don't we all develop mystic powers and then just, put a spell on people or enchant them and make them accept Krishna consciousness. But it doesn't work like that. Still we have to somehow touch their free will. And they have to understand what they will gain by this. So Kumaras could fly in the sky, they could walk. They came like this, they left like this. And King Prithu, it says that he was original king. The word is Adirajena, that he was the original king. So Maharaj Prithu is an example how a leader should be. And one of the main principles of leadership of such a king is that he is listening to the brahmanas. He's listening to the brahmanas. He's listening to the devotees, the Vaishnava brahmanas. What kind of advice they give him? They actually guide the king in such a way. Please don't close the door. They guide the king in such a way that he will actually support Krishna consciousness of the people in his country. He will establish policies and procedures and systems so that people can increase their Krishna consciousness. This is the greatest benefit that he can give to them. So usually these Raja Rishis, they knew what to do, but sometimes they had to ask, they had to consult, and they had ministers, and even nowadays presidents of countries have ministers, many advisors who give them, who tell them what would be good and why and things like that. So, and in the Vedic society, the Vaishnavas were advising the king for the benefit of all people in how to engage everyone in devotional service. And king himself, he was extremely respectful to the Brahmanas and teaching people that also they should be very respectful and listen to the Brahmanas, take their guidance. So everybody needs spiritual guidance. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna admits at the beginning, in the 7th verse of the 2nd chapter, Karpanya dosho pakata svabha, that he says, I need help. I'm not sure what is the right thing to do. Please help me. I'm doing my best to be a surrendered disciple, to listen to you. And when I came here, we started with this seminar on success partnership, and actually the principles from the Bhagavad Gita were the inspiration for this. You may think this is some kind of concoction or whatever, but actually you see what's happening in the exchange between Krishna and Arjuna. They're friends, but at one point this relationship is not like this anymore. Now Arjuna is taking the position of a disciple, subordinate position, listening, and they are not friends anymore. So in the success partnership, you actually, if you have another devotee who is assisting you, you put yourself in a position of learner, we may say. You put yourself, if this relationship is where you exchange knowledge or experience and advice and things like that, it's not just some sentimental friendship, but actually it is a very serious, structured conversation, and relationship becomes more dynamic. You can, joke together. You can speak about mundane things amongst friends. But if you have a success partnership session, it's a very serious session where you actually have a clear plan that let's work on our Krishna conscious goals. That 1 hour that you spend together, you actually optimally use, and you have a conversation about how to improve in this area, how to improve in that area. You report to each other. You can report to each other. So what's happening in the Bhagavad Gita is that the relationship becomes more serious. And Arjuna was also apologizing. He said, I treated you as a friend and I called you this and that, but actually you're superior. And at the beginning he said, I'm surrendered to you, and please guide me. I don't know what to do. I'm helpless, actually. I'm confused. So unless and until we are able to admit that we need help, that we need guidance, we will not be able to make significant progress. Two most dangerous words in English language are I know. So we sit in the class, we play the class on the tape, and we think, I know all these things. Yes, but have you realized it? Do you live it? Are you living it? I don't know. Maybe. I'm trying. So what do we know? Between knowing and doing and realizing something, there is a gap, and this gap has to be bridged by serious action and practice and prayer, and not just one thing is a theory and one thing is the application. So if you want to use the rest of your life, I don't know how much you will live. Maybe you live another 7 minutes. You can use it by actually working on improving yourself, and other devotees can help you. And I think this is the meaning of spiritual friendship, where we help each other on our path and in our attempts to improve, to become better servant of the Lord and devotees, and to become better in our practice also, to learn the Bhagavatam, and also to preach. One thing that is happening in our lives, and everybody has this experience, that other people and circumstances, they actually sometimes, it seems like they take away your love. They take away your love. So to me, this is the worst thing that can happen. That circumstances, if circumstances are hard, you may forget about love, and that this is the essence of life, love and loving service. And you start to suffer a lot, and you start to want to, your heart becomes empty, and you want to feel this emptiness with intoxication, with some sinful sense gratification, whatever it is. Maybe gaining power, gaining control, gaining position. You want to feel the emptiness in your heart by different external things, and it doesn't work. So never allow circumstances to take away your love in your heart and your ability to love. That's hell. This is the hell. This is hell. When you cannot love anymore, just hate everybody. And when we come to a spiritual community where we are supposed to develop spiritual love, which is eternal love, we find ourselves in a situation where we hate everybody. And we think that devotees are actually the greatest obstacle to my spiritual advancement. Before I was a nice person, now I hate everybody. And everybody irritates me, everybody goes on my nerves. Srila Prabhupada said that in one purport that Krishna consciousness without association of devotees is hallucination. He said like that. But people say, I want to associate with devotees, but what does that mean? Oh, I'm a devotee. I come for the Sunday feast exactly in Prasadam time. And exactly after Prasadam time, I'm leaving. And I'm a devotee. And I want some rights here in this movement. So you want rights by going to the Prasadam time and leaving as soon as the Prasadam finishes? And you say you're a devotee? Somebody was telling me about membership. Now there is this, you heard about mega churches in America? They like start with 12 people of congregation and then now they have 12,000. Their Sunday feast has 12,000 people. They have a big hall, like a sports hall, and preaching and singing. So they're very well organized, but they have membership, which ISKCON doesn't have. They have membership. And what does membership mean? It means if you're a member, you have your duties if you want to consider yourself a member. Oh, you know, I'm a devotee, I come for the Sunday feast. So what kind of a member you are? I'm a Sunday feast member. So okay, this can be one category. You're a member who comes only at Prasadam time during the Sunday feast. That's something, because you're taking spiritual food. Maybe you give one coin, little donation. So, but they clearly defined what are the obligations of a member and how you can, if you want to be considered a member, then you have to do certain things and you have to contribute in certain ways. Not only think I'm a religious person, I love Jesus, but you do nothing. No, you have to contribute so that the other people can get benefit. So I think some some leaders, they tried to develop membership. I think Shivara Maharaj was trying to push that point on the European GBC meetings, that have a clear membership, have a membership. And that means the member's position and duties are defined. You can open half. Okay. So, Srila Prabhupada has given a framework, given us a structure, but if we want to optimize everything, then we have to see what works. Maybe in Germany this thing will work better than in other countries. In some countries people are too loose or too much like hedonistic, so you can't impose any rules on them, and you can't push them to be members and to have duties, but whatever they do, you are grateful or whatever. But in some places maybe there can be more discipline. So Urukrama Prabhu from Slovenia told me that now Prahladananda Maharaj and their team, their management board, they're actually studying the book called Purpose Driven Church by one pastor from America, and it seems that Maharaj really likes this book, and they want to implement the things and try to organize. And maybe it will be possible in Slovenia, maybe it can be possible in Germany, I don't know. I say this because in these countries people are a little bit more disciplined, more responsible. In other countries people spend whole day in the cafes, smoking and drinking, and even during the work time they go out for a lunch break which lasts 3 hours, they don't come back, they don't work so much, just avoiding to work. In such countries it's not easy to establish in ISKCON this kind of discipline or membership clearly defined, but in some countries maybe it's possible and people can be better organized. So this kind of having a structure or having a structured association and getting the most. We speak about associating with devotees. Somebody may think, well, associating with devotees means actually just criticizing everything in ISKCON, all the problems and things like that. And we should address problems, especially problems of abuse. I was speaking the other day, abuse of children, abuse of women, or sometimes it's abuse of men also. So we have to address these things, but this is not criticizing, this is dealing with the problems and correcting things. It's not the same as criticizing, sitting around and pointing out to the faults. That's another thing. These things are not the same. So if you want to get the most out of association of devotees, then you need to be clear how do you associate with devotees. And in Shastra it is said how we should associate with seniors, with equals, with juniors, how we should respect them. These things are described. And therefore I propose structured association. So especially when this is some kind of a free time, then or even prasadam time can be used better for deeper conversations. And we spoke when it came about confidential conversations, Guya Maketi Prichati. So out of 6 Slavic exchanges in ISKCON, we have prasadam is going on very well. Bhumte Pujayate Chaiva is going well. Then exchange of gifts, not so bad, could be better. Giving gifts, receiving gifts. But Guya Maketi Prichati is not so much happening. Confidential conversations, two-way. It's not happening very much. And this is why I propose this success partnership or mutual coaching, mutual mentoring, and things like that. And not so many people come forward to be mentors or to be counselors or to be coaches. So in that situation, we have to do something and help each other. And even if you do it with equals, your time is spent better if it's a structured conversation. It's a structured conversation. I mean, why I'm saying this? Because last 20 years, I was doing this myself. Of course, most of the time I was in the position of a coach, but many times also I was in the position of a client, getting assistance from somebody else. They were helping me or giving me advice or listening, helping me to think better. And that means you're not wasting time. You're not wasting time in any way. I'm not saying there should be no relaxation time or recreation time or I say some entertainment or joking and things like that. This can be there, but again, if we associate in a structured way, it's much more powerful, and everybody benefits much more. Everybody benefits much more. And then there is so much to discuss from the Shastra, how to apply it. There is so much to discuss. I just got questions from devotees in Serbia, and I will read, maybe next time I give class I will read them to you. I forgot to bring the text. They asked me something, how can we improve our advancement, how can we apply the Shastra better, and questions like this. How can we advance better? How can we take shelter of the Lord and things? And I said, try success partnership. Try to help each other succeed. Help each other succeed better. And now, somehow this situation has brought that devotees are associating online much better, and they are reading. There is a Sangha in Serbia, and they are reading Bhagavatam, and they take shifts reading. They are discussing. At the end, they have a little bit joking, a little bit like relaxed exchange. It's all online, but I mean they talk to each other. There is one program. It's not Zoom. It's another one. I forgot the name, and so it kind of suits them, this program, so that they can hear each other and also have a chat. Everybody's on the chat. And they have now, they had once a week, but now they're increasing it to have actually more times a week, this association, this Sangha. And it seems more and more devotees have this online Sangha. And people live in different places, they cannot meet always, but online it's easy to meet if you have internet. So they have serious discussions, spiritual discussions, and they have questions. So this is a good use of time. This is a good use of time. So let's go back to our verse and purport, and let's see here. Now this praise between Maharaj Prithu and Kumaras is not like some kind of a mutual flattery, where old boys are patting each other on the back, and you're good and you're also good. No, this is very genuine, because both of them have very high qualities. So not only that Maharaj Prithu worshipped Kumaras and expressed his appreciation, but also they also expressed their appreciation for him, because he was really taking care of the citizens, and especially about their Krishna consciousness. So again, we see, like in the third canto, there is this verse which describes that the Lord protects Brahmanas through Kshatriyas and Kshatriyas through Brahmanas. And so we see the example here of mutual support between Kumaras and Maharaj Prithu. And when this kind of leadership is there in the world, then we can actually have the golden age that is said, and it has already started. The golden age already started. So we spoke that if we want golden age, then actually leadership has to be taken over by devotees. Otherwise, how it will happen? And golden age means that people are serving the Lord more and more and more. That means golden age. they are engaged in glorifying the Lord, in worshiping the Lord, and offering everything to the Lord, then we can have a golden age. Otherwise, it's just a dream. And people want to, modern success teachers, philosophers, they teach us how to be happy in this world, how to create heaven on earth, or kingdom of God without God. Kingdom of God without God. This is what they are teaching. If you follow these principles, you can have heaven, perfect relationships, money, economic development. You can have artha, kama. Artha and kama. This is what they're interested in, artha and kama. Dharma, if it helps kama and artha, if dharma helps artha, I will have kama. So if religion will help me to get rich, God, please give me something, my daily bread, my money, then I will be religious because it will help me to enjoy kama. And moksha, only people think of moksha if they get really frustrated and kama doesn't work. If kama doesn't work, then I want moksha. I want to merge into something, into light. Huh? Void?
Into the wall.
Void?
Wall.
Into a wall. How can you merge into a wall?
I'm just saying.
If you try to merge into a wall with your head, you may break your head. So be careful. You may imagine that, oh, I can run through the wall actually. Maybe I can run through the wall. Maybe I can become a ghost. So, so we don't, we learn some principles from these teachers, maybe principles of goodness, but this goodness is always mixed with passion and ignorance, and so we follow acharyas who are teaching us what is the purpose of life and what is the real goodness, what is the most pure goodness. So thank you very much for listening. Do you have, or maybe it's too late, maybe no questions.
Late?
Is it too late?
No.
No? Too early? Yeah?
We told that siddhis are used, they use powers, but Ravana took Pushpak Viman from Kubera. Kubera also, like he has demigod, he also has many powers, mystic powers. Then what is the use of taking Pushpak Vimana? And when Lord Rama coming from Lanka to Ayodhya, he also took Pushpak Vimana with the use of.
So what is your question?
Why they don't use powers if they have? What is the use of Vimanas? Different types of Vimanas.
Or maybe you know the answer to that question. Better, because you have read this. Do you know the answer to that question?
But in Srirangam, there is a temple, I forgot the name. There are different types of Vimanas. Under stones, they made different types of Vimanas diagrams, and every bottom of that stone, they mention different types of mantras. So if they have just mystic powers, they can go easily. Then what is the purpose of to make these Vimanas?
It looks nicer, I think. You can maybe also relax a little bit. Or maybe the Vimanas have heating, I don't know. think about high sky, I think it's freezing. That's my material conception. I mean they have a cool body. I don't know. I mean, you have to ask the demigods how they are dealing with these things. But now you reminded me. I don't know if you're attached to anybody in this world. Maybe you're completely detached. You don't care. You're not attached to anybody. But sometimes people are attached to family members, or you fall in love with somebody. Maybe in past life you were also together, whatever. But there is sometimes strong attachment to another conditioned soul. And so you think, if I go back to Godhead, will they also go? You worry that I don't want to leave them here, I mean, to rot in the material world. So when Dhruva Maharaj was going back to Godhead, he asked about his mother. He loved his mother. He asked about his mother. So what about my mother? Where is she? And then these Vishnudutas, they said, look back. And she was entering another airplane. She was also going back. So there is Hridayananda Maharaj and Govindaparadana Prabhu made commentaries to the Bhagavatam, and there is one verse in the 10th canto where they say that even your friends get liberated, not only your family, if you become a pure devotee. Even your friends. Can you imagine that? You just reminded me with these airplanes about Dhruva Maharaj, that his mother was also going back to Godhead. So now, okay, I made a different point, but it just reminded me of this. You want to say something? Yeah? Anyone else?
I have a little technical question. Sorry.
He was first, or you? Ladies first or sadhus first?
No.
Let us fight. Who will win? That other has the first word. Very nice. Okay.
I have a little technical question because I got confused with the statement that the Kumaras appeared in the sky. And in that moment, but how could the people hear the preaching of the Kumaras when they just appeared at the end of the preaching? Or how can I understand this? That they appeared in the sky.
You see, yogis, they can move from one place to another in a few seconds.
So
This is one of the mystic powers.
Move.
Huh?
So it was like a celebrational move to appear in the sky after they preached.
They can do whatever they like. I mean, they can move in a few seconds. We cannot do these things, so we think it's impossible. But they can do in a second.
I just don't understand the mentioning in the verse.
You have to read. You have to read to understand what really happened. Then you can tell us tomorrow or the other day what happened. You can read carefully what happened and then see, oh, this is what exactly happened. I think. Is it okay? Sure.
My question was more in the direction like, I don't know really the English word, but like when you search for a mentor, how can we develop this capacity that we feel like we really need it? Because often I think it's enough to read Prabhupada books, and that's also what many people tell, or many devotees, just read Prabhupada books, he will explain everything. So the question isn't maybe enough to just read Prabhupada book. Of course, it's important to share and this and that, but I don't know if Prabhupada invented mentorship. Is that something he also wanted to introduce?
There is many quotes about Prabhupada encouraging devotees to take guidance from senior devotees. Yeah, so that's indication of mentorship. I mean, he didn't call it mentorship, but he said, take guidance. They asked him, and he said, take guidance from my disciples, my experienced disciples, and they took guidance and they made advancement. And also Prabhupada says in one place, this is the way of Indian preaching, that senior pupils or disciples would actually take care of junior disciples, and in this way you can teach hundreds and thousands of people, because one person cannot teach everyone, one person cannot take care of everyone. So in this way, as soon as somebody is trained, they can help others, and there is this chain of assistance. There is a chain of assistance. So Prabhupada definitely, I mean, there is a lot of, I think, support of this system. He also mentioned mutual consultation So, you know, if you read, sometimes maybe you don't understand something or you're not sure how to apply it, so then you discuss with other devotees, and if you have a mentor, you can ask him. Then people also, maybe you don't need income.
I made the experience and I was into it a little bit, but because Maharaj has many disciples also, and I was not sure who is my mentor in the end, because there were so many, and it was at the beginning just with one, but then the person went to India, and then he was there for 2 months, and I didn't know who to talk with, and then I lost contact with this person, and then I had another person I was talking to. He was also someone in India, so it was not really clear. Because they were all like.
As any relationship, this relationship is also being built, and you have to develop trust, and you have to see how consistent is this relationship, how much you're consistent, how much your mentor is responsive, and he really care about you. And for those who are seniors, I recommend that you don't wait for a devotee to contact you, you contact him. You reach out to him. So if mentor never contacts you, then my doubt is that he really cares. He never asks you how are you doing. And so basically I think a mentor should regularly ask people how are you doing and do you need any help? And if they say I'm fine, and they're also sincere, I mean they're not just presenting that there is no problems. And sometimes with some devotees I have this, that they say, oh, but there is no need to talk every week or something. Okay, we can speak every 2 weeks. Oh, there is no need to speak every 2 weeks. But actually, if you take this time to talk, then you see that there is a need, and there are always something coming up, and there is always some doubt, and there is always some problem, something maybe you think it's not a big thing, but actually it can become a big thing. So to prevent things, it's good actually to check in, check out, or check how it's going. And you know, we say touch the base. You understand this? Touch the base. Yeah.
No.
Touch the base, or to. There are some other phrases I forgot in English. Just review. Okay, review things. See how it is going, and it helps a lot. And if you have this with several devotees, I mean, if one of them dies or goes somewhere and you are not in touch anymore, then you have other people. And actually, in the professional world, they don't speak about having one coach, but having like the whole board of people, like council. They are all dedicated to your success. So if one of them dies, you have 5 others. And we also speak about many Shiksha gurus, many Shiksha gurus. So in the Shastra there is this concept of getting help from many people. So this, association is so powerful, yeah?
I have a situation that, for example, when I was in different countries and I had some younger devotees, they, in one sense, not an official mentor or anything, but they asked me for certain things. And then when I leave that country, for example, we still stay some kind of touch. So I have over the years, I have several devotees. We still, it's like from time to time it's a checkup, and there are certain other people, as you said, who lead them or whatever. But they check up with me. What do you think about it? Is there some bigger decision to be made, or some kind of thing? And they always ask me, this and this and this and that. And what do you think about this? So it's like not an official mentorship or anything, but it's just like you're there as to confirm or to if there's some like extraordinary situation, for example, or like there is one particularly the temple president. He's from time to time he asks me things, and he has his guru, he has their board and everything, but he says one more security. He checks up. What do you think about this idea? And I said, this is terrible, whatever. And then he considers. I don't expect him to now listen to what I say, but he asked me for opinion, I expressed my opinion. It's like it's free exchange. It's a different kind of relationship as it was, for example, a few years ago when I lived with this person, and it was more like a day-to-day exchange. Do this service, or you go outside with that, don't go outside with that, stay back, sleep today, There's a more immediate mentorship. But later on became some kind of a distant relation, but it's still there, if this person wants it.
Yeah.
So this is my experience.
We should be available to people. We should be available to people. Yes?
Krishna was a demigod. It is written here, demigods never touch the earth.
Can you close the door, please? Yeah.
Demigods never touch the
Yes.
earth.
Yeah.
Yes, in the other places or other books, yeah. Demigods, they are coming to the earth, they are living in the families, they are trying to know, to understand what devotional service is, how to understand.
This is exactly what I was thinking when I was reading, to raise this point. You noticed very well that we heard, I think even Prabhupada said that demigod get born on earth and they preach, or they try to complete their self-realization or things like that. But okay, I have an answer to that question. It just came to me. So they don't touch the earth in their demigod bodies. When they get human body, they have to walk on earth.
I wasn't sure, I said I wasn't sure.
That was a tricky answer. Yeah, they touch, but in a human body, not in a demigod body. Do you like this answer?
It shows also about this.
I mean, I meet people who are really exceptional. I met recently some people, some new bhaktas and bhaktins. They're just amazing people. I mean, I'm just shocked how much they see things. They see people. They're completely new. Then when they read something, they say, "Oh, I understand this very well," and I still don't understand it after 38 years. But they say, "Oh, this makes sense to me. I understand this." So these people are not from this planet. Some people come from the higher planets, but they still have to work to complete their self-realization. They are not still completely pure. For example, if you meet a beautiful girl and you say, "You're like an angel," and she thinks, "Oh my God, he thinks I'm like an angel," but actually angels are not pure devotees. Angels are these apsaras, I mean, in the Bhagavatam. And then maybe Gandharvas, or I don't know. So they don't understand that it's not like a super compliment. But it means you look beautiful or something, okay. But angels are not pure, 100% pure devotees. They may be devotees, but yes. So it's a nice point. A nice point.
Oh yeah, the
walking.
demigods. I forgot number. How many demigods?
What? 33 millions.
Oh yeah, okay.
What will you do with this number?
It was interesting.
You want to meet all of them? Have a darshan. They say, "No, I want your darshan because you are distributing books. I still didn't start distributing books." Yes?
You can meet all of them if you worship the cow.
What?
You can meet all of them if you worship the cow.
Okay. If you really? That's nice. That's a practical tip. Okay, any other? Who has the best question or the best comment?
I'll guess probably not best. I'll try to say what you told that when demigods in their form they don't touch. When they are coming into the human body, they will touch the earth. For example, Ramanujacharya, he is the incarnation of Adishesha. So nothing but Krishna himself only. So when he came to the South India, he took birth and he became a normal human body. So he walked throughout the South India and established many temples.
He walked on the soil, on the earth. Yeah. Oh, well, one symptom. symptom of the demigod may be that he's, developing, he's contributing to spiritual activities a lot. And probably most of them would like to preach. So, like this, help the mission, spreading Krishna consciousness. So, if you see an empowered preacher, that person might be a demigod who came from higher planets. Yes?
I didn't get this. So, Krishna himself came in the form of
Ramanujacharya. Adishesha. Adishesha is incarnation of Krishna.
Everything is coming from Krishna. Adishesha, Lakshman, Balaram, Krishna.
Who is Adishesha?
Bala.
Anantashesha.
Then who is Adishesha?
I don't know. I am asking you. But one thing, okay, I don't want to go too long, but yes?
I was just wondering, you said it's Krishna himself. Like Krishna is like an expansion of Krishna is different from a demigod because demigod is different kind of.
Yes.
I mean, it's like us.
Jiva Tattva and Vishnu Tattva, yeah.
Yeah, not
You're
like,
right.
Like these bodies, but like us, they're like us, but like.
Yeah, you should have an argument after the class.
Yeah.
You just have a heavy argument over prashadam. It will be tastier.
No, but Madhvacharya is a pranamaya, he's a demigod, for example.
Okay. Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
So it is a demigod.
Yeah. Okay. To finish the class, I want to say something. I want to tell you that please become a preacher. This world is missing preachers. My friend Vishnumurti Prabhu, the first video in Vanipedia, it says, quotes Prabhupada, it's this Vanipedia videos, 1008 videos for every country. You have the first video is about 10 million acharyas. So where these acharyas will come from if not from ISKCON? So you have to become an acharya. You have to become a preacher, representative of God. And if anybody, asks you, you should be able to answer if they meet you on the street and you say, look, you need... Huh?
You are suffering.
No.
No, I'm not.
No, not you are suffering, but you take advantage of this offer from above. You take advantage and become more happy. I know you're happy, but you can be more happy. You're not suffering. And now you see, what I'm proposing for you is to take responsibility for the mission. Take responsibility for the mission. Our very Madhava Prabhu, he's looking for a job, but Krishna doesn't give him a job. Yeah. and he knows more than any of us.
Yes.
He knows the stories and so many things, but he has to consolidate this knowledge. I think you have to consolidate this knowledge by learning the Bhagavatam very well, learning the philosophy and becoming a preacher. And maybe all your plans will be fulfilled when you surrender to the mission. I think Krishna has a plan for you. That's why you don't get a job very easily. Because I think in past lives, you have been practicing a lot. And now, you were born in India and you need to help your family, okay. But you have to see how to do this. Maybe his way will be different. And you have a capacity to be a wonderful preacher, I think. And you are already preaching, and you're already, but you can expand it. You can expand it. I'm not only getting on your case, it's every one of you who is here. It's not an accident that you're here, and you can preach much more than you are preaching. Believe me, the greatest happiness is preaching, and the best preaching is a happy devotee. So you become a happy devotee and you meet people on the street. And I just saw somebody wrote, sometimes on Facebook it appears, it just appears, some video. And there was this Manidhar Prabhu, Manidhar Prabhu? Manidhar Prabhu was in India and somebody recorded 12 minutes of his preaching to devotees about Sankirtan, book distribution. and they wrote Hare Krishna comedy. Hare Krishna comedy seminar on book distribution. So he's very humorous, but they are laughing uncontrollably. They're laughing uncontrollably. They just cannot. One devotee, he was always, the same devotee was laughing because whatever he says, he just cannot stop. He just like hurt my stomach. But he was explaining how devotees are preaching and distributing books. I mean, there is so many ways how you can do this, and there is funny ways also. Like there is this Brihad, you know Brihad Banu? He's also legend, I think, Sankirtan legend. Brihad Banu Prabhu, the way he was also funny in Sankirtan, so he would do different positions, and so he would like poke people with books. If somebody's fat, he poke him in his stomach, and they buy a book. They buy a book. They like him. He's also a little sweet. He's sweet. He's also a little chubby. So, and he's sometimes running or this. Manindra Prabhu was explaining how he would approach people, because if you want to somehow attract their senses, you have to do something extraordinary. So he said he would do like this. He come to some says, they said, what are you? And then he said, well, I have a book for you. So he explains how you have to go get first, attract their senses, then somehow shock their mind, and then intelligence has doubts, oh, what is this? So also go around this and touch the soul. And these devotees, there is, I mean, I saw some brahmacharis there, they showed the audience a little bit when he was speaking. They're dying. They're dying how he explains things. So why I'm saying this? Because if you like humor, I mean, you can use humor to preach to people. I use it a lot. I mean, I'm speaking about heavy, serious things, but I'm using humor because it's easier to digest. It's like life and death things, and so you can also use your sense of humor to attract people, because when people are laughing, they actually listen more easily to certain things, and it's easier to digest if you say something heavy. So you can find your own style of preaching, and so develop. I mean, I can help you with that. I can help you to develop your own brand of preaching, your own style of preaching, whatever you want. You want to do music, with music you can do amazing things, because between songs you can preach. You play a song and then you explain. Prabhupada also explained the purport, made the purport to the song, Vaishnava song, and whatever you want. If you want to be a psychologist, become like an amazing psychologist, and for Krishna. Explain the mind, how the mind works. Learn from Manindra Prabhu how to explain the mind in a funny way. And there is so many possibilities what you can do, how you can preach. So, but if you choose one way which is attractive for you and then develop it and become an expert, you will always enjoy it. It will not be tapasya. You will enjoy doing it, and other people will enjoy it. They will say, he's enjoying so much. Why should I not be like him? I mean, I also want to preach. So like that. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.